Welcome everybody to Rouse and Reads. My name is Nick, and today we're going to talk about The Assassin's Apprentice. And I love this book, and this is going to be a spoiler review, so we can get into all the nitty gritty and all the fun details. And I know you're here because you most likely enjoyed this book as well. Yeah, I was looking for a good fantasy um, series to dive into. I didn't care if it was wholly wrapped up or it was fresh. And I came upon the Farseer trilogy, and I know I'm kind of late to the game on this one, but boy, was Assassin's Apprentice awesome. And credit to Robin Hobb, because when I first started reading it, I didn't know if I was going to continue. I thought, it was the name she was using was a little silly, with Verity and Chivalry and Regal. I was almost like, all right, come on. And I was wondering if I was, going to be able to tell the difference between, all of them. But, as it went on, I loved it. And I loved that she called the spade a spade. And, I was good with the names. Um, and I also have to give credit to the narrator for the audio version, Paul Boehner, because I listen, like when I take the dog for a walk, I'll listen, and then when I'm sitting still, I'll read. So I go back and forth between listening and reading, and he did such a good job that it sucked me right in. And sometimes that's what I need. Sometimes I need a good, audio to suck me in. Somebody good with the voices, so I can play those voices in my head as well. Um, so yeah, Paul Banner did an awesome job with the Farseer trilogy as well. So yeah, let's get into it. Fitz dropped, at the gate by his paternal grandfather or maternal grandfather at the ripe age of 6 years old at kind of the army base in Moon's Eye. And, one of those scenes, when he first is curling up with the dogs in the kennel, and Verity and Regal are, looking at him, and you just know right then that Regal's a jackass. And, he just, obviously he's the great villain of the whole Farseer trilogy. And you feel for Fitz. It was interesting to never meet Chivalry at all and just hear about him from Verity, and Shrewd, and all the others. But yeah, I was like, let's get in. Like, this is kind of like mysterious and cool. And I feel like the universe that we're introduced to early on too is like just enough of this and that. And did I read that right? Like sharing minds with a dog? Like what's going on here? So like I like that in this universe, just like a little sprinkle of the wit, a little sprinkle of the skill here and there, and not all telling you all about it and what exactly it is, and we slowly learn more about each aspect of those, beyond Assassin's Apprentice, and as we get further into this book. And then um, yeah, so Burrich, who was Chivalry's, right hand man, is left responsible for Fitz, and I thought their relationship and how that grows throughout the trilogy and throughout this book is awesome. Um, and when Fitz bonds with Nosy, and Burrich figures out what's going on, I know I'm not the only one that thought that Burrich killed the puppy, and it's like, reading through the rest of this book, like, yeah, like you're giving tough love to Fitz, and I want to like you, but I can't. Like, I feel like you killed the dog, and only for at the end for it to be wrapped up, and we kind of get like a redemptive moment from Birch there at the end, and she just tied up the ending of this book pretty nicely, which I appreciate, and I feel like that this book had a true ending to it, um, unlike, like, I'm reading Live Ships right now, and I don't think like the first book in that trilogy like had a true ending. Like it was written like, yeah, this is part one. So be it. I'm just going to continue right where I left off, 800 pages, where I feel like with Assassin's Apprentice, there was a true ending to this book, and I thought it was tied up neatly, and I believe I'm pretty sure this came out before Harry Potter did. This came out in 1995. I just got like kind of strong Harry Potter like Sorcerer's Stone vibes at the end of this. Um, we have Fitz, a young assassin in training, becoming adept in poisons and all these things. Somewhat knows the skill, kind of like Harry Potter, the Chosen One, has like all these power and abilities that Voldemort imprinted on him, but he has no idea how to use them. So it just gave me some of those vibes, and uh, Chade almost being like his Dumbledore, or Verity almost being like his Dumbledore, and maybe Chade's more like the Sirius Black. I just there was like little strands that I was pulling, and there's a lot of similarities from other books and all literature, but like I don't know. I really, loved those books growing up as a kid, and like this kind of gave me those giddy feelings again, um, reading through it. So really loved. I thought like Birch had like a full character arc throughout this. Again, like I thought this wrapped up nicely. Like it wasn't like, all right, there's gonna be a book two, so we're gonna leave all these threads hanging and not even like attempt to half close any of them. So I really enjoyed that. Um, I love how much I hate Regal, and she writes Regal so well that that's the only feeling that you can have for her, and Galen as well. Like, what a prick jerk. And that night on top of the tower where he almost convinces Fitz to end himself is just like searing with anger. And then in the end to find out that Galen is Regal's half brother, or yeah, because he was a bastard as well. So it's also cool to see those threads, Chade Fallstar, bastard, um, Fitz, bastard, Galen, bastard. It's like, each one of these, there's a like in every line, and I'm sure maybe it was a common thing. Um, but yeah, the witting with the dogs after this book, I was like, please don't wit with another dog. Like the worst thing's gonna happen again. Like, you know, um, and I won't touch. I was debating on whether I did all the Farseer all as one kind of spoiler review all together, and I think I might do that in the future. But I kind of wanted to stick to Assassin's Apprentice right now. Um, but yeah, once he loses Nosy, Lady Patience again, another name, and she's not always the most patient. Um, and she's an interesting character as well. But she gifts Smithy to our boy Fitz, and Fitz knows nothing more than to bond with another puppy, and I thought that the ending for Smithy was tragic, and we're starting to learn more and more of the powers of the wit through that a little bit, and the fact that he bonded with Smithy throws a wrench in his relationship with Burrich as well, which I, I don't fully understand like Burrich's hate for the wit. He is witted, and apparently keeps himself closed off from the wit. But yeah, refuses to talk to Fitz. Um, that relationship is kind of cool. Just how like Burrich just kind of like picks up as his dad, and Fitz almost has like multiple dads, or he's clearly seeking certain father figures. Um, I just, Verity is so well written in my opinion too. Like you almost know like what this relationship could have been if Fitz was a legitimate child. Like best uncle ever, would have had time to be there for Fitz, teach him things, um, and I thought the red ships and everything being there looming, like, in the end, they're not necessarily like the real villain. It's all happening from within. It's Prince Regal, who at the end, again, it gets a little weird in the Mountain Kingdom. It was so obvious that Regal did it, but yet there was no consequences to it in the end. And like I feel like the whole trilogy could have been wrapped up right then and there at the end of book one. But the justifications for letting Regal get away with it and, oh, well, you'll never be able to prove it, et cetera, et cetera. It's just like, he's evil. Like, it's time to lop that branch of the family off. Like, be done with it. And he just continues to play everything in his puppet strings. And for the longest time, throughout the rest of the trilogy, I'll try to stop mentioning the other two books. I thought that in some way Regal was in league with the Red Ships. Like in some way he had something to do with the Forge folk. And I feel like Robin left like little threads there here and there that um, in one way or the other, it's all going to come together, and he's really, aiding, the assault on the shores of the Six Duchies. So I was proven wrong of that, but I thought that was quite interesting. Um, yeah, I really love this book. The ending with finding out that Nosey's still alive and was given to Prince Risk of the Mountain Kingdom as a gift, only to come full circle and save Fitz's life at the end and drag him out of the baths. Um, was tears of joy, tears of sadness. Um, just really well written and thought of in advance, and the skill at the end as well was really cool. Seeing Verity just totally overpowering Galen and putting him in his place was phenomenal. So it gave us, I feel like this book was just like the perfect introduction um, to the realm of the Elderlings. We meet the Fool for the first time. Um, that's interesting. Just to touch the Fool. I feel like in Royal Assassin and in Assassin's Quest, where Fitz and the Fool are, that narrative progressive. Here is just like a small little taste. And in the beginning, King Shrewd, like I didn't know what to think of him. Um, obviously using a skill on a 6-year old to, get him to become a king's man um, was interesting. I didn't know if he was doing right by Fitz or not. Um, in the end, I wound up to really like King Shrewd. Um, but yeah, I think Chade is probably one of my favorite characters. Just um, and Lady Time, I really like that twist as well. But yeah, overall, I love this book. Are there some holes in the book? Sure, but as many have said before me, Robin Hobb is a great character builder. Like the depth that she builds into her characters, and not so much with Assassins and Apprentice is it a big deal because this wasn't the massive block of pages that the rest of her books have become. And sometimes going through some of those chapters, I'm like, do we really need this? Okay, yes, this is developing this character. So it'll pass. I think in Assassin's Quest, not so much. But yeah, for Assassin's Apprentice, not a worry at all. Very, very fast read. Great introduction. I loved it. Um, and I was at the end of this drooling for more. So, um, who did I not touch on yet? Oh, Molly. Molly, so we meet Molly early on in this when Fitz is, being a street kid, running around with Nosy, stealing food and everything, running around with Molly, and Molly's like family life is kind of tragic and you know has Fitz heart in a way. I just I feel like that thread stays around too long, but maybe I'll be proved wrong because I finished Farseer, um, and I'm halfway through live ships right now, and I don't know. I don't know if more comes of the happenings there, but um, fine with Molly in this book, Assassin's Apprentice, um, and oh, one more thing to touch on. Fitz never meets chivalry, and it's noted that he was dead off by the hands of Queen Desire, which again, another one of those names, calling a spade there. I just find her naming conventions in this in Farseer to be just funny and spot on. Um, I feel like she drops that a little bit in further series. Just speaking from live ships, but uh, yeah, overall, love the book. I'd say I'd give it like 4.5 stars out of five, although I don't really give ratings, but love it. And I'm obviously sticking around in the realm of the Elderlings and stay tuned for more. And I know this was a little kind of all over the place. It's been a couple weeks since I read it. I did want to get a video out on it because again, this book has kind of been the gateway for me into Robin Hobb and the realm of the Elderlings, and I'm sure it was for many of you as well. So yeah, that'll wrap it, and thanks for watching. All right, bye. Until next time.